what is your full name?
Melody, Melody.
Yes.
Mae, Mae. And then Muth is Muth.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 62. I'll be 63 next month.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Clay Center, Kansas, but I was born in Belva.
Okay. What was the most popular game or activity to do with your friends when you were a kid?
We rode horses.
Okay.
And we played softball.
How would you describe the personality of the neighborhood where you grew up?
Oh, we were very friendly. We had lots of kids, and I was an only child, but I had lots of neighbor kids to hang with, and we'd go hang out in somebody's yard all the time, usually.
Okay. What was a typical school day like for you, and how did you get there?
Well, most of the time I walked. My mom was a bus driver, but I didn't want to ride the whole bus route. So I walked most of the time. As far as school, it was kind of normal, something like what you guys have. We had 8 hours of school. I don't know how many hours you got.
8.
Okay. Depending on our teacher, some of the activities we did some odd stuff. We had one teacher that even taught us how to kill a chicken, to butcher it.
Okay.
It was odd. Otherwise, it was just typical stuff. We had, the science, the home ec classes, social studies. English, I guess. We did have where we had to do a lot of reports, where you had to get up and talk. Like, is that what you guys got to do, is get up and talk about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of that. And we did have after-school sports, too. I did junior high sports, but in high school, I just stuck to playing softball during the summer, and I was in 4-H, and I had animals.
All right. What kind of chores or responsibilities did you have around the house as a child?
I did a lot of stuff because my mom and dad worked, and I just felt like I could. So I did your basic cleaning. I did laundry, vacuuming. Depending on chores, I helped even with chores as a little kid. As far as animals. What else? I don't know if I ever had to mop a floor, but other than that, mostly vacuuming, dusting, and laundry.
Okay. Who was your favorite teacher, and what specific impact did they have on you?
I would have to say Mrs. Rockefeller. And she was my 5th grade teacher. And I think she just taught us a lot of the basic stuff. Like, she was the one that took us on field trips, showed us how to kill a chicken and all that kind of stuff, We put stuff in our class so we could just try things, new things. She just made her year really fun. It was educational, but it didn't seem like it was boring all the time. as far as it didn't like want me to be a teacher or anything like that, but she was probably my favorite teacher.
Okay. How did you and your family spend your summer vacations or holidays?
We did not get to go on vacations and that because we had animals, mostly horses. And so my summer was either playing softball, which I played up to 3 teams a year. And with the horses, you couldn't really go anywhere. You had to be there to feed them every day. So, and plus, since I pretty much rode almost every day too, we just did that. So we never really did go on a vacation. Only once I can remember as a little kid, we went to Colorado just to help my aunt move back to this area. Otherwise, we did like trail rides, which is a whole bunch of horse people get together and like go to a lake and ride or something like that, go where it's hilly and camp out overnight.
Okay. What was the most high-tech item in your house when you were growing up?
Boy. We didn't even have a microwave. I suppose like a regular stove. We had the dial telephone, and TV, regular TV. We did have color TV at least. And I was fortunate that some of my classmates didn't even have an indoor bathroom, and I did.
All right. What is a specific sound or smell that immediately takes you back to your childhood home?
Well, that one's a tough one. A smell or what?
Sound.
Sound. I would say like going to the fair and hearing the animals. As far as smell, I really can't say anything, to be honest, as far as smell. 'Cause my mom didn't do a whole lot of baking because she was working. So I can't, sorry, I don't have an answer to that one.
That's okay. How would you describe your parents' personalities to someone who never met them?
Very friendly. My dad, he grew up actually an only child too. He was adopted when he was a kid. So, he wasn't around a lot of kids. But as he got older, besides working a regular job, he was also a truck driver. And all truck drivers, they talk, talk, talk. So he was very, very friendly. My mom, she was, pretty friendly, I would say. She had her times with people, just like everybody, I guess. That she didn't trust some people, felt like that. But overall,
All right. What is a family tradition that you've tried to keep alive throughout your life?
trying to think. We always do Christmas together. I would have thought of that earlier. I would have thought of something, but I know there's things that we still do. I would stick to this Christmas for right now. That's about it. But we always make sure we get together.
Okay. In what ways are you most like your mother or father, and in what ways are you different?
Unlike my dad, I'm very laid back. We just people who put up with a lot of stuff until we don't no more, but very laid back. I have been told I kind of look like my mom, but as far as I guess she was a hard worker, and I learned over the years I had to, I was a lot of times working up to 3 jobs to have it a full time and 2 part time to make ends meet, to raise my 2 daughters after I got a divorce. So I think I got my working ability from both parents there.
All right.
That's probably about it.
Okay. What is a story about your grandparents that has been passed down through the generations?
Oh, this one's easy. We learned to drive at 10. I was taught out in the pasture to drive a stick shift when I was 10 years old, and I taught my daughters. And now my grandson's getting ready to turn 10, and so I'm going to teach him to drive. I didn't get to teach Halen and Harley, but I'll teach these others. But age 10.
How did your family handle disagreements or house rules when you were a teenager?
I hardly ever got a spanking because it just didn't work. They would ground me from riding my horse, and that hurt worse. Since I rode all the time, and yeah, that hurt worse. In high school, there really wasn't a whole lot. I mean, I guess got just like any other kid, got grounded and had to stay home.
Okay. What did a typical Sunday dinner look like at your house?
We didn't have one growing up. We were just always so busy that we were lucky. I mean, it might be 9, 10 o'clock before we'd get to eat. So we didn't have a typical Sunday dinner.
What is the most important lesson your parents ever taught you about life?
To work hard, be trustworthy. I've learned to be very friendly if I can. I guess that's probably it. I try not, we don't try to lie.
Okay. How has the definition of family changed for you as you've gotten older?
Well, as I've gotten older, I didn't grow up with very much for family. And as I've gotten older now, almost all my family is gone. And so it makes me to really want to spend time with them, who I do have left. That's why I try to go all to ball games and any kind of program and all that kind of stuff. We may go to Lincoln or something on a Saturday or Sunday. just try to spend a lot of time together because there isn't very many of us left.
All right. What did you dream of becoming when you were young, and how did that change?
I wanted to be a mechanic, and I had the whole plan. I was going to take power mechanics in high school, and then I had my school job figured out, and then to go on to Milford, Nebraska. That was the great place to go for mechanics back then. And when I was in high school and went to take power mechanics, they didn't let me take the class because it wouldn't work out with my schedule for my job class, because they told me that was a job for a guy. Back then, us girls just didn't get to do what guys used to.
Mm-hmm.
So they, pretty much took everything away from me in high school, and then I was like, heck with it. I guess I'm just gonna not do it, and didn't worry about it anymore. I was very upset about it, but yeah. So it was kind of the school that took my dream away, it felt like.
Okay. What was your very first job, and what did you do with your first paycheck?
My very first job, we had a chicken farm out in the country, a big chicken farm and a big turkey farm, and they still have it at Clay Center, I think. And kids could go out there, and we pulled chickens out of their crates, and we'd carry them out to the trucks. And then when it was time to bring them back in, then we'd go out some other weekend and carry chickens in and put them back in their crates. But it was a very stinky job, but it paid well for a kid who was 12 years old. And I can't tell you what I spent it on. Probably going to the swimming pool or something like that. I mean, because it was only a weekend thing. I was very tight with my money as a kid. I saved it a lot.
What specific factors led you to choose your primary career path?
I just took whatever it was at the time.
All right. How did your workplace or industry change from the day you started to the day you retired?
Well, I'm not retired yet.
Oh.
I got a few more years yet. I can retire I could retire, but I wouldn't get my benefits for a while. I have to go to like 67 before I can retire. So I've got like almost 4 years left. But as far as my job, what I'm doing now, nothing's really changed except my boss is retiring.
What was a time when things didn't go as planned, and how did you adapt to that situation?
Well, I would be upset for a little bit, and then I would just kind of go with the flow, and whatever worked. If just tried to, if something needed fixed or something, I need to go buy something else, or just for specific, I had somebody break into my farmhouse and steal all my stuff out of there. I just adapted that. Well, that's life. Move on.
Looking back, what is a piece of advice you wish you could give to your 25-year-old self?
I would say when it came to boyfriends, choose wisely.
Okay. What has been the most difficult world event you lived through, and how did it change your perspective?
Wow. I've had a few. Let me see. Well, I lived through a tornado at Clay Center. We had one hit there. Luckily, not our house, but like where my parents both worked. I had like my babysitter's house. Their house didn't get hit, but their barn got all taken out. Things like that. It makes you appreciate what you have, I guess. Just like losing, I guess, all the family members and close people, friends I've had lately pass away. It makes you appreciate having them and wish you would have spent maybe more time even with them.
Okay. What are the 3 things that bring you the most joy in your daily life right now?
My children, my grandchildren, and my friends.
All right. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and what would you ask them?
Well, I was always an Elvis Presley fan as a kid, so I would say Elvis Presley. And what would I ask him though? I would probably ask him about his family.
Okay.
Because he was a real mama's boy.
What is something you are still curious about or want to learn more about today?
Oh, I really like solving problems, like, like detective type thing. So I would say something to do with that. Because I'm always curious. If there's a problem, I always see if I can solve it.